The USL Championship offseason was full of surprises. There were so many things happening. You had player transfers, you had coaching change-ups, and then you just had announcements happening throughout the league. And with the new season about to kick off, I want to break down some of those things that happened this past offseason. But before we do, if you're a fan of the USL, please give this video a like because it really helps with the algorithm so that we could get more exposure of the USL out there. But with that, why don't we get into it? So with any offseason, you're always looking at the players. Where are they going to go? Who's going to come in? Are there going to be any shocking signings from certain teams? There's no difference in the USL. Of course there was. So it's no surprise that Nick Marcanic was the best goal scorer in all of the US, especially in the USL. He won the Golden Boot. And so of course he went off to Spain to go play over there. And so you thought, who's going to come in? Who's going to fill in those shoes? And the Charleston Battery, in my opinion, I think they got the best person they could have gotten to replace Nick Marcanic. And that is Cal Jennings. Cal Jennings has certainly proven himself in the USL. He's a player that isn't going to let you down. He's always going to compete. And he is that type of person. I've seen his interviews and his games. He's always going to give you 100%, and you can tell on the field. You always see that with him. He isn't a player that likes to lose. You can easily tell that by the effort that he gives while playing on the pitch. So the Charleston Battery was going to have some big shoes to fill, obviously with Nick Marcanic, and I think they did the best. I think Cal Jennings is nothing short of that. I think they'll be very happy with him, and so I think this was a great signing for him, and I'm excited to see what he does with the Battery. And another transfer that happened was Augie Williams going to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Let's not forget that Augie Williams was very pivotal in the U.S. Open Cup for Indy 11. When they were Sporting Kansas City, I mean, everyone was cheering for him. Everybody was looking to him to see what he could do. And just throughout the whole season, I think Indy 11 were very happy to have him. And Pittsburgh Riverhounds are going to be happy as well. When Albert Dikwa left to Rhode Island FC, he was a Golden Boot winner too. And so Augie Williams, I think, is going to be perfect for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I think he'll be a key role for them. And hopefully he's able to find the back of the net for them. Pittsburgh has one of the greatest stadiums, the most beautiful views. And so every time Pittsburgh plays at home, I love watching their games just because a part of it is of that view. They play along the river. And so I hope Augie is able to extend their season for a while. And another transfer that was very surprising to me was that Johnny Rodriguez left Oakland Roots to go to Las Vegas Lights FC. I honestly thought that Johnny Rodriguez was going to be one of those rare players that stays at a club for a long time. I thought Johnny Rodriguez was going to be an Oakland Rooter for life. And it's very rare that a team has a player like that. And so I thought he was going to be there forever. He got a shot with them at Niza when the Oakland Roots were playing in Niza. He was with them before they were in the USL. And he was such a key role for them. He's the leading goal scorer for them. Whenever he would do interviews and stuff or post match interviews, he was always so hyped up. You could tell that the fans really loved him as well. And so I honestly thought that he was going to be there forever. And so when he decided to go to Las Vegas Lights, I was like, whoa, what happened there? But hey, sometimes a player needs a new challenge. They need to challenge themselves. Of course, a player's going to want to grow. So I think Johnny Rodriguez playing underneath Antonio Nocerino can only help him. You never know. Maybe Antonio has connections and Johnny maybe wants to go over to Europe or something. He's in his prime right now. He's only 26 years old. So we shall see what happens. But that's good stuff for Johnny. If he's up for the challenge, and I'm sure he's not going to disappoint. He scored for the Las Vegas Lights in the preseason as well. So we shall see what happens there. But it wasn't just players that were moved around. It was also coaches. I mean, two of the biggest shocking news of coaches being let go were Alan Marcina and Mark Briggs, who were let go respectfully by their clubs. But I mean, when that happened, I couldn't believe it. These were some of the most incredible coaches in the USL in recent era. I mean, Mark Briggs, when you think of Sacramento, that's who you think of. The thing that he did in the Open Cup where he got him to the final. And Alan Marcina, he won a championship with San Antonio. He won a championship in 2022, I believe it was. And still, that wasn't good enough. They let him go. So when this happened, this sent shockwaves throughout the league. I couldn't believe it. And for them not to have a club right now in the USL, I think that's amazing too. Maybe they want to take breaks or whatever, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see what happens. Because, like I had said, for Antonio Nocerino to have a club, he has Las Vegas Lights. When he was with Miami FC and they had the worst record, he has a club. He has a job right now. And these two guys right now, I believe they don't have a job. I believe they're not coaching right now. But yeah, Antonio Nocerino also getting a job. That was incredible. Like this offseason was a crazy time for coaches because you thought, what is going on here? And so then Sacramento bringing Neil Collins, who had a very successful stint with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So we shall see what happens there at Sacramento. We shall see if he's able to lift up Sacramento and get them over the hump that Mark Briggs couldn't get them over, or are they maybe one day going to say, hey, we messed up and let's bring them back? Do I really think that's going to happen? Of course not. That's not going to happen, but you never know in this sport. I mean, Mexico right now has had the same head coach 3 times, and I feel like there's a lot of coaches right now who have a lot of pressure on their back, and like I've said many times before, to be a head coach of a soccer team, I tip the hat because that is a very stressful job. But I mean, it's been like I said, said, guys, this has been a crazy offseason. It has been nothing short of crazy because there's so many moving parts. I mean, Eric Quell leaves New Mexico United, and then Dennis Sanchez comes in, but Dennis Sanchez had a successful stint with Las Vegas Lights, and Las Vegas Lights, they had a new owner. So it's like, why did he decide to leave? Why did he leave? So now he goes to New Mexico, but New Mexico is also a powerhouse in this league. New Mexico and Las Vegas, their head coaches are going to be competing with one another to see, hey, was I better when I was with them or not? Should I have stayed or should I not have stayed? And then again, Las Vegas, they hired the worst coach in all of USL last season. That's just mind-boggling to me. We shall see if Las Vegas is able to turn things around. And then real quick, I mean, what is happening with Miami FC right now? Miami FC just released one of the best-looking kits I've seen in the USL Championship, and now they're signing former MLS players, and big MLS players at that. Yes, they're way older, but still, they went the complete different route that they had gone the previous season, where they hired nothing but young kids, and everyone thought, what is Miami doing? I mean, are they going to fold? Are they hiring young kids because they don't have any money? They don't have any money to pay actual players? So I thought this Miami season was going to be over. Then I see what they're doing this offseason. They're bringing in great talent, top talent. It looks like an actual team now. Granted, it feels like they're starting from scratch again, so we shall see what happens with that, because a lot of times when you start from scratch and you compete against league teams that have been established for a while, it's not going to go well. So we might see a repeat of last year, but I think not a complete repeat, because these are players who have been playing for a while. They're not young guys. They have experience underneath them. But will it be too much experience in the sense of, are those legs already worn out? So we shall see what happens there. But it wasn't just with teams also. The league as well was announcing major announcements. You have the Jagermeister Cup, which is a brand new tournament between the USL Championship and the USL League One, where they will be competing against one another to lift up that cup. And when that happened, of course, that sent shockwaves, because you thought promotion and relegation was right around the corner, was going to happen. This was a little taste to see if it was going to be able to happen, to have Pro Rel here. But I already made a video on that. I won't really get into that. But just looking at the overall announcement, it's great to see that the league is trying to compete with itself. It's a closed league. Like I've said before, it's a closed league, but still, this was something incredible. This is something big that happened in the offseason. It brings more soccer to the fans. The USL is only growing. This proves it. They're thinking outside of the box. They're trying new things. And so I'm all for it. I'm excited to see what the new season is going to bring. The USL Championship, like I said, it's right around the corner. So much has happened. With the Jagermeister Cup, we will see how off the championship from USL League One, how far apart is the quality? How far apart are the player pools? Can they compete with one another? I think this is going to surprise a lot of people. I think that a lot of people will be surprised in fact that they're not going to be that far apart, that they can compete, and it's going to be for great soccer, entertaining soccer, and that is what we need, because the World Cup is right around the corner, and this is only going to bring more eyeballs to the USL. And of course, when you bring more eyeballs, you bring more attention, and you will bring more talent eventually. And so it is a great time to be a fan of the USL. I can't wait for 2025. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see who will lift up the cup and what kind of shockwaves will be sent throughout the league, what kind of upsets will happen. So I just wanted to recap this offseason. I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's incredible, guys. I'm so excited to see. I can't contain this. This is going to be a fun year. I know that for sure. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What are you most excited about during the offseason? Who do you think is going to win? Are there any dark horses you see? I would love to see what you guys have to say. But thank you so much for tuning in. And with that, I will see you all on the next one.